shakalaka!
Get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown! And the Cavaliers by three. And welcome to the jam. Come on and slam. If you wanna jam.
Yo-ho! Welcome back, friends. This is the Ultimate Warriors podcast. I am Ben Christopher. We have a great show coming up for you today. Lots of fun things to talk about. I'm joined, of course, by my co-host, Mr. Teddy Ballgame. Ted, how was your weekend, buddy?
It was great. It was great. Basketball filled, not so much Cavs, a little more March Madness, but can't complain. A lot of crazy upsets.
It is that time of year. It is that time of year. But, hey, I'm excited for today's show. We're going to talk a little bit about that March Madness. We're going to talk some Cavs. And I would love to tell everyone what they can expect from our show, but we do have a final member of our big three who just does it so much better than I ever could. And this is the guy who, of course, he introduced MGK to rap. He actually introduced him to rap, and that's a fact that I found on Wikipedia. So we all know that NBA and hip-hop go together like peanut butter and jelly. I'm, of course, talking about my good friend and your DJ's favorite DJ Andrew Smith. Andy, can you just let everyone know what to expect today?
DJ Andrew Smith.
Ultimate Warriors, call up Ben and Teddy. I'm tiptoeing in your dreams, so you can call me Freddy. It's a Mark 1 sports cast, top of the class. Ben jamming in Teddy. They're rising hella fast. They're lighting up your speakers, phones and AirPods. Coming through the waves, getting mad head nods. And we getting at the gym. Giannis swole. Getting money long. Call me Bobo. How can you say the NBA is boring? 50 on your dome. TJ Warren coming back again, man. I ain't got no chill. After this, I'll go to Magic City like Lou Will. Eating wings, jumping on the tables, acting a fool. Blowing the free $10 that I got from FanDuel. It's your DJ's favorite DJ, Andrew Smith, the freestyle legend, man or myth.
DJ Andrew Smith.
Ted, what'd you think, man? Another classic.
I forgot all about TJ Warren's 50 spot he put up in the bubble. That was a great reminder.
That was such a crazy thing. There was all these bets about who was going to make the first 50-point, who's going to have the first 50-point game. TJ Warren, he did it. So, sorry, I was chasing my cats around. If you noticed on the video, they were literally trying to kill each other. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, I was just trying to put the basketball game on too, so I was a little distracted there myself.
No, you're good, man. So, hey, before we talk Cavs, how about March Madness, man? It's been crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's been outrageous. Unfortunately, Ohio State got beat by Oral Roberts.
Well,
but
that's the problem. I did one bracket. It was a $20 buy-in. It was a work bracket. I labeled it Ben's perfect bracket, because I just knew it was going to be perfect. And, I thought I was going to win big. I had a chance to win $140. And, of course, I'm a homer. I had Ohio State win the entire thing. OHIO, baby. Let's go, Buckeyes. We lost in the first round. Ted, you said to Oral Roberts. I don't even know where that school is from. It sounds like an orthodontist. Hey, Oral Roberts. That sounds like somebody who'd be working on my teeth or something. Not a college basketball team that's going to be beating Ohio State. So, Ted, I hope your bracket is doing better than mine. Did you fill one in? How's yours doing?
Yeah, so I actually did. I'm in 3 different ones. Worth money. None of them very much. I think 20 was the most for the buy-in, but and I always do this. Some people get mad at me. I do the same bracket every time, to spread the risk out with that. But in the first one I did, I'm also a homer, so I had Ohio State going the whole way. And I can tell we're brothers because I named mine Ted's Brilliant Bracket was mine.
Nice.
So very similar to yours.
Pretty close. Good.
But all mine are shot. I think I had Illinois winning one of them. And then I had Gonzaga winning the other one, but I had them playing West Virginia in that final, who also lost already. So I'm not going to be winning any money this year.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, obviously Ohio State lost. There's probably no way I win, but I'm actually in second place right now because there was a lot of
nice.
other upsets. Like, yeah, I mean, there's no way I win because it gets weighted differently as you get further down. But
Right.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Oral Roberts shouldn't have been a 15 seed, in my opinion. They looked way too good. I watched Cleveland State play. Who'd they play? The red team. Houston. They played Houston and just looked out of it. Looked like a JV team going against a varsity team or something. It was
right.
It was like watching paint dry. It was bad watching Cleveland State try to score on them. And meanwhile, Oral Roberts is taking us to overtime and ends up beating us.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to me. Washington Jr., who's Ohio State's best player, in my opinion, he had 18 points, but he went 7 for 21 from the field, which is not very good. That's 33% there. So
yeah,
that was a bit, and everybody knows the shot he missed at the end there, that 3-pointer that would have tied it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard this. EJ Little on Ohio State, he had 23 points and 14 rebounds for us. He was actually getting death threats on Twitter.
I did. I saw that. That's crazy. That's nuts.
People are so dumb with Twitter when it comes to that stuff, man. He had a great game. He had 5 turnovers, but they were quadruple teaming him anytime he caught it. And he's the one who kept us in that game. So for anybody to be mad at him, I was mind blown that they would target him instead of Washington Jr., who's really struggled for us.
Yeah. So didn't Ohio University win though?
They won their first game. They lost today, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I was trying to tell everyone at work that I actually meant to pick them since they actually won. Nobody bought it, though. Nobody bought it.
Well, they lost today anyway, so it wouldn't have been much better.
It wouldn't have been much better. Would have got me one more point.
Right.
Ted, we actually had our own little March Madness show this last week, and it really was madness. We called it Cavs Madness. Ted, you ranked 32 players, and we went through our favorite Cavs. Not the best, our favorites. Lots of upsets, lots of surprises. If you haven't listened, go listen. It's a lot of fun. But, Ted, we came down to the final 2, and we ended up tying. So we went to Twitter for the real winner. And, yes. Ted, I know you're sad, but Kyrie Irving got the Twitter push to get the win over Boobie Gibson. How are you feeling about that? I'm feeling pretty good. I think that's right. I think that's the right call.
Well, I'm a little disappointed with their followers. Apparently they don't like boobies as much as me. So maybe they're all ass guys. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because I am not happy with that.
Ted, Kyrie, man, we talked about it last show. Kyrie was so much fun to watch as a Cav. I know it ended poorly, but when he was on our team, man, he would cross everybody over, make these crazy layups. It was insane. I loved every second of it. So I miss him. I wish he was still here. And congratulations, Kyrie Irving. You are our favorite Cav of all time. So, Ted, I'm glad that you're on board with that.
Hey, Twitter doesn't lie. Twitter polls don't lie.
Does not lie. So, hey, this is a good time for me to mention we are part of the Mark One Sports Network. Obviously, we are the Ultimate Warriors. We're your Cavs, your NBA show. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. It really, really, really helps. Mark One Sports, we also have the Danger Zone with Josh and Rich. They cover everything Cleveland Browns. The Browns are coming off the best season that I remember. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this coming year. So Josh and Rich are just going to talk about that. You know, we're going to talk about that Super Bowl we're going to be winning here in 2022. So make sure to give them a listen. And then we've got CLE Tribecast. They give you all of the Cleveland Indians coverage. Jeremy and Kevin, They'll fill you in on everything you need to know. They're watching spring training. They're checking all the prospects. Jeremy and I mentioned this last episode. We've probably done 10,000 drafts on All-Star Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, all those games. So I know he's legit because he's a good drafter. So I know he knows what he's doing. So make sure to give him a listen. And then, of course, our flagship show, the Mark One Sports Show. Always fun. Ethan talks about everything in the world of sports, news, movies, food, whatever's going on, he's going to talk about it. So make sure to give them a listen. So, Ted, with that being said, let's take a look at the past week for the Cavs. And let me sum it up real quick for you, Ted. You want me to sum it up real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, we sucked. That's what we did. So we're going to just kind of go through these games, and I've got a good and bad, just like I did last time. So let's start with the first game. We lost to the Heat the day after we recorded. It was 113-98. The good news, Ted. You want to know the good news?
Tell me the good news.
Colin Sexton, man. He scored 21 points. You know?
Yeah.
You want to know the bad news? You want to know the bad news?
What's the bad news?
He shot 7 for 17. That's not really good. And the actual really, really bad news, this was actually the worst part, is that we let Kelly freaking Olynyk, score 17 points. And he had a game high plus minus of plus 21. I just wish Kevin Love would have sprinted out there and tore his arm off. He cost us the 2015 championship. We all know that. It's very true. So
he did.
That's my good and bad from that game. Ted, anything stand out to you in that one?
Yeah, I'll just hit you with a good bad right back at you here. My bad's going to be that not a single Cav that game had a positive plus minus.
Yep.
So it's actually impossible to win if that happens. So that's going to be my bad. And I didn't see a whole lot of good. So my only good is going to be that my boy Dean Wade got to go out and enjoy the Miami nightlife after the game. He probably went out with Tyler Hero. Maybe they hit up some gentleman clubs or something.
Gentleman's club? You mean like a nice place where you go and get a good steak? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe get a nice glass of whiskey, whiskey on the rocks. Who knows?
Well,
but Tyler Hero definitely was with him.
Oh, Tyler Hero. They clearly were together. So that was the game one, guys. That game sucked. Next game, this one gave me some hope, Ted. We beat the Celtics 117-110. Man, was that refreshing. We needed that. We've been sucking. We needed that. The good news, Ted, is that we beat the Celtics, who are my most hated team in the NBA. And let me just take this moment to remind everyone that Paul Pierce literally shit his pants in the NBA Finals. I just want to make sure everyone remembers that. The bad news, and honestly, this was a good game overall for the Cavs, but the bad news, I guess, was Jared Allen that game. He had only 7 points and 7 boards in 33 minutes. So would have liked to see a little more from him, but overall the Cavs played great. So, Ted, anything you want to talk about from that game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting the win's good there. I think that was our first win since the All-Star break. So that's good. And I love when Okoro actually gets involved on offense, and he had 10 shots that game and 15 points. Whenever he can get, any contribution on that end, we're a much tougher team. But yeah, my only bad would be Kevin Love didn't play.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on there? He just came back and now he's gone again. So that's my bad.
I don't know if he's going to play ever again.
I don't either, but he's not going to retire because I don't know if they get that contract if they retire.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So, yep. Well, let's take a look at the next game. So the next game was Friday, where we lost, what do you know, to the San Antonio Spurs, 116-110. So the good news, Garland and Sexton, a.k.a. Sexland, they each had 29 points that game. So that was kind of showing some flashes of what the backcourt could be. in years to come. The bad news, Ted, you want to know the bad news?
What was the bad news?
Some guy named Broderick Thomas was probably our best player of that game. And I'd never even heard of that guy.
I'm pretty sure.
I still barely know who he is. So he was our best player that game. So Ted, anything stand out to you in that one?
Yeah, I think that guy's got a 2-way contract with our D League team, but I don't know much about him either. But no, this game sucked. I mean, everything about it sucked. Kevin Love didn't play that game, huh? Still didn't play. So that's my bad. The only good part of this game was Keldon Johnson on the Spurs had 23 points and 21 rebounds. And he's on my fantasy team. So I'm going to chalk that up as my good for this one because there was no good on the Cavs.
Why not, man? Take what you can get, right?
Yeah.
All right. So our next game, this was versus Toronto, and the Cavs laid the smackdown. We don't need LeBron to be LeBronto. Like, I don't know a cool new word to say that we own Toronto, but, screw you guys. So we won 116-105. Good news, Colin Sexton, he had 36 points. That's a great game. And Jared Allen, I mentioned him earlier. He had 17 points, 15 boards in this one. So that's the good news. Do you want to know the bad news, Ted? Do you want to know it?
Was there bad news in this game?
There was. It's very bad news.
Oh, what was the bad news?
Broderick Thomas didn't even play. I mean, this guy just went off and had this great game, and then we just didn't even play him. Hey, who's our best player? Broderick Thomas. All right, cool. Keep him on the bench. So that was the bad news. Broderick Thomas did not get any playing time. So Ted, did you notice anything from that one?
Yeah. So the good for me is that my boy Dean Wade was a +6 with 16 points this game off the bench. And just so you know, 16 points, if he misses all of those shots over his 18 minutes of work he put in, the Cavs would have lost by 5. So that should go down as the Dean Wade game.
Wow. What do you know, man? What do you know? Wade?
And my bad, because this was actually a home game. So my bad for this one is that with COVID going on, it doesn't allow for the full stadium capacity. So less people got to go and watch this beatdown that we just handed Toronto. That's my bad.
That is a great bad. Ted, who is your favorite D Wade to ever play for the Cavs?
The current one, Dean Wade.
No love for Dwayne?
No, he played 20 games and then he left to go back to Miami.
Yep. All right. Good answer. Good answer. I just wanted to see what you'd say. So, all right. So the next one, and man, there was a lot of games this week. So we're just kind of trying to get through all of them. So this is Monday night's game, and we lost to the Kings 119-105. All right. So I'm going to start, Ted, with the bad news. You want to hear the bad news first?
What was the bad news?
So, we love the plus-minus stat, right? It's a good stat. We like looking at it. Let me tell you how our starters did. Darius Garland, -26. Colin Sexton, -25. Larry Nance Jr., -25. Jared Allen, -24. Isaac Okoro, -18. So that's the bad news, Ted. And we didn't lose by that much. Every single other person on the Cavs was positive in the plus-minus. And I'm skipping ahead. That's the good news. Every single other player on the team was positive in the plus-minus. And Ted, do you want to know? You want to know who highlighted the night for us?
So you're saying our whole bench was positive? And
they were.
Everybody else was.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna guess it was Dean Wade then, because he's our leader off the bench.
Ted, it was he was a player of the week player of the game in last week's episode. Mr. Quinn Cook +16. Why didn't we just play him the whole game? I don't understand it.
Wow, we should have. That's how many minutes did he play?
I don't know, but every other player was positive.
That's crazy. So My bad is going to be that Colin Sexton only had 15 points. We're not going to win any games with him shooting like that. And honestly, yeah, the whole starting lineup. Jared Allen, who doesn't shoot long shots, was 4 of 11 from the field. We need him to start playing at a high level again, because anytime he does, we're pretty good. And my good's going to be that
Quinn
with
Cook?
COVID doesn't allow for full capacity at stadiums, so not as many people saw us get our ass beat tonight.
I respect that. I wouldn't have wanted to be there.
I wouldn't either. I will shout out Javal McGee, though. He had 18 off the bench in 19 minutes. He's playing like a guy who wants to get traded, because I don't know if we'll buy him out.
He's trying to go back to the Warriors. Is that what you're saying?
He probably wants to go to the Nets or the Lakers or somewhere.
Wasn't he? He was on the Lakers last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He probably wouldn't end up back there, but he's playing like a guy who wants to get traded before the deadline coming up here in about a week or so.
For sure. Well, guys, that's a recap. So let me just sum it up one more time. We sucked. And Ted, I think it's time for the obscure Cav. Do you have an obscure Cav of the week for us?
I do. So he is a shooting guard that is currently on the Blazers. The Cavs traded for him LeBron's last run with the Cavs here, second time around, and was supposed to be a big contributor for our playoff run, in which he then went on to average 5.4 points per game in the playoffs.
That's not Jordan Clarkson.
Nope.
Clarkson. Last run. Jeff Green.
Last run. Nope, shooting guard. This is how obscure and bad he was when we got
Did we get him at the trade deadline?
Yeah. He once refused to go into a game, I believe. A playoff game, I believe.
Well, that's Scottie Pippen. I remember he didn't go into a game, but
this is a Cav.
I know. Who we got?
It's Rodney Hood.
Holy crap. Yeah. We got him from the Jazz, right?
From the Jazz. And he was like pretty solid on the Jazz. He was. I thought he was going to be a big time player for us that year.
Terrible. He was terrible.
Oh, so bad.
Terrible.
Do you remember that when he refused to go into the game at the end? And it was like it was like a blowout, and they tried to check.
Yep, because he'd like barely play. I don't think he played at all, and they were putting him in. It was yeah. Wow, I completely forgot he was alive. Literally forgot he was a person.
That's why he's obscure, baby.
He's obscure, man. I feel like I should have got that. I'm a little bit bummed. I guessed 2 other guys.
Clarkson's actually playing well right now. He's on the Jazz. He's on the Jazz now.
I know he's on the Jazz. That's why I was confused. It's like Clarkson's playing great right now. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that is all we have. Thank you all for tuning in. Ted, is there anything you want to mention or leave anybody with before we peace out here?
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And never forget, Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Yes, they did.
Seconds. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again.